Welcome to this class on neuroscience of human movement. This is part 4 of our discussion on parietal and premotor cortex. Okay. So, in this class we will discuss grasping plan and disorders of voluntary movement control, especially those that are caused by lesions of the motor association areas, right. So, again let us go back to the coffee example. So, you want to grasp a cup of coffee. So, there is an object that you want to grasp, and this object you want to, how do you grasp this object? It turns out that this involves several steps, right. Grasping plan to start with involves information from the visual system. So, here what is shown here is information collected through the eyes, right. So, this gives us crucial information about object properties, right. So, such as dimension, etc., right. Note, grasping by itself is not an independent action performed. For example, when there is an object that I will have to grasp, it turns out that reaching and grasping are coordinated, right. So, as I am reaching, the grip aperture, so essentially the distance between the thumb and the fingers increases as a function of the object size, and as I go closer to the object it becomes smaller, so that I can actually grasp and lift it. So, essentially there is coordination between the arm movements and the finger movements. How is this achieved? This must be achieved through reciprocal projections or coordination between those neurons that control reaching and those neurons that control grasping. Once again, there is not absolute clarity on the boundary between these sets of neurons, but what is known is that there are neurons that are more specialized for reaching when compared with grasping, and then there are neurons that are more specialized for grasping when compared with reaching. So, this visual information reaches the inferior parietal cortex, the AAP region, that gives us information about the affordances of the cup, right. These are the properties of the cup. What kind of handle does it have? Does it even have a handle? Can you hold it by a handle, or is that something that you can hold with one hand, or is it large enough that it needs to be held by two hands, or does it, what are the various properties of this object? So, affordances of the cup that we want to have, and then this information further reaches the anterior premotor cortex, from where it reaches area F5. Let us remember what area F5 has. Area F5 has neurons that are specialized for controlling hand to mouth movements, and of course, movement execution is something that is performed by the primary motor cortex, also called as M1. And have we actually achieved the motor task? So, we need to get feedback. That feedback comes from the sensory area. So, essentially vision of the coffee cup is first step, and then that information goes to the inferior parietal cortex, specifically the AAP area, to get information about the affordances. Please check this word, it's a technical word, psychology. Please check what is the meaning of affordance. From there goes for planning of movement to the anterior premotor cortex. From there, area F5 for hand to mouth movements. From there, M1 for movement execution, and finally feedback is received through the sensory area. So, this is a schematic. Note, this is not a complete picture, we are still working on this topic, this is still a work in progress, there is still active research to understand how exactly grasping is being performed, but this is a very rough bird's eye view, or this is a rough schematic picture of what could probably be going on, right, in a simple task, right. So, essentially grasp plan is something that involves vision of the object, inferior parietal cortex information, AAP and affordances, and anterior premotor cortex, area F5, M1, and the sensory areas for feedback for maintenance of a stable grasp.